We have on our AT&T line right now Tony Daunt, the executive director of the Michigan Freedom Fund, as we catch up with him in this new year. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning, good sir. Always a pleasure to be here.
Well, term limits are interesting because you get a new crop of people every once in a while, and it's interesting to see what they do right out of the gate and where they end up by the time they're finished. Jocelyn Benson, who was elected to Michigan Secretary of State, second time she'd run for that office, but she's new to the office, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that she said, or probably said it many times in campaign speeches, is that when she was coming into this position, it should be considered almost like a nonpartisan position, and that she wouldn't bring politics to that office. Is that the way it's been going so far?
That is indeed what she said, but I think the actions that we've seen are that is absolutely not the direction. She's kind of kicked right off into doing the bidding of her allies and campaign donors, like the former Democrat chairman Mark Brewer, and it's disappointing, but I would say not surprising given her long history of activism in the left.
What's already happened, and what's she doing with Mark Brewer? He's the ultimate boogeyman for Republicans, isn't he?
Well, he's certainly he's an active partisan and does everything he can each day to do the bidding of Democrats at the expense of the state of Michigan. And the problem with what's going on right now with Secretary Benson is there's a redistricting lawsuit that was filed by, you guessed it, Mark Brewer, back in, I believe it was late 2017, related to how the districts were drawn. And it's been ongoing for over a year now. And Secretary Ruth Johnson was the defendant. And as soon as Jocelyn Benson was sworn in and named as a defendant in her official capacity, lo and behold, she knew all enough about this case to engage in a settlement with plaintiffs, with the people who brought the suit, who just so happen to believe the exact same way she does. And I think that's an incredibly corrupt way of doing things. It flies right in the face of this nonpartisan, people-focused Secretary of State office she promised, and I think people should be calling her to account for that.
Who benefits from the deal?
Well, when you look at the deal, when you look at how things have transpired thus far, the secret negotiations where they didn't even invite people who are party to the case to participate, it's very clear that the Democrats will benefit from this, and all based on kind of a phony lawsuit that they brought. And when you bring a lawsuit and you end up with two people on each side of the case who believe the same thing, it's pretty easy to rig the decision in your favor. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing happen here.
Is it too late, or what would you like to see happen now?
Well, I think, most of all, would like to see Jocelyn Benson maybe go back to what she claimed she was going to be, which is somebody who focuses on enhancing and improving the services of the Secretary of State's office and doing that job for everybody in the state of Michigan, not just engaging in these kind of hyper-partisan activities that benefit her party and her allies and her donors. And I think we'll see some important things coming up here in terms of court decisions, and I'm confident that the Senate and the House and the congressional individuals who are intervening in this case have good attorneys and will be doing the work to continue to expose this corrupt bargain and fight back.
On another note, there's a little bit of a leak here, I guess, into what the State of the State speech may offer for the first time for Governor Whitmer in just over a week. And I hope you don't mind. We'll talk with you before and after that speech for your reaction.
Oh, absolutely.
The 6% sales tax on fuel, the governor is tinkering around with the idea, instead of giving half of it to the schools and half of it to the roads, give it all to the roads, and then figure out where to get some money for schools from somewhere else. I guess it's about $675 million a year. Is that a significant idea, or just sort of a kind of a shell game in terms of moving money around?
I believe that idea has been discussed. It was maybe even part of some of the discussions when the Republican legislature and Governor Snyder were coming up with their plan. And we certainly welcome any idea that looks to put more money towards our roads, especially money that you pay at the pump. And it's no surprise that our roads are terrible. And we applaud any serious ideas that look to fix that problem. Don't know the specifics of it. Couldn't comment, but certainly, it sounds like it would make sense to, if you pay for something at the pump, the sales tax, well, then let's have it go towards the roads.
In terms of bare knuckles politics, okay, if Gretchen Whitmer gets elected gets elected to be governor, saying someone's got to fix the damn roads, or we'll fix the damn roads. Now she's elected. She's the one the buck stops with. That was her promise. She's going to do it. Doesn't it stand to reason that the Republican-controlled House and Senate would not want her to achieve that campaign promise?
There's always, the speculation that that's how things operate in Lansing, and I think that's maybe because I think as we see in Washington, D.C., the dysfunction there is so prevalent that people think it trickles down. But I think people in the state of Michigan, the Republican leaders in the legislature in particular, and Governor Whitmer, they do believe in the betterment of our state. And if they can, if it's good policy, it's good politics, and that's always been the case. And if both sides come together with a good plan that accomplishes a goal, they all win. And so it's not a zero-sum game. And I think both sides would be wise to find a way to get this done without raising taxes and without raising fees, and spend the money we already send them.
And everybody wins, including all of us who drive on Michigan's roads. Tony Daunt is the executive director of the Michigan Freedom Fund. Google that organization up, and you can get on his newsletter in your email box every single week.